Okay, the ones who are over here.
My phone.
Oh no, I don't want to rip anything again.
4 friends right here. I'm gonna have you come sit right here. Oh, 3 people stay right there. Yep. Yeah. So you two come this way. Come closer. So I want you to come sit in front of your classmates, okay? So you two. Come right here. All right, now you 3.
Shabbat Shalom. I think there's still a little too much moving and shaking happening, so not everybody really heard that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
That was very nice. It's so lovely to see all of you. I think everybody has already done this, but if you are a kid and you're not with your grown-ups right now, and you're not in the choir or in K4 or 5, then please be with your grown-ups, because we're going to start our service. I'm so happy to see all of you this evening, this beautiful evening, where it is not yet incredibly cold. We shall see what happens in the days to come. But what a beautiful day we've had. What a beautiful evening we're now having together, celebrating Shabbat with one another. And I'm so excited to be sharing the Bima tonight with our kindergartners. If you're a kindergartner, wave to everybody for a second. And is anyone in the choir? If you're in the choir, I'd like for you to wave, please. Very good. So we have all of these wonderful singers and prayer leaders who are going to help us with our service this evening. And of course, we are also joined by Mark and Wendy Cohen, whom we are always delighted to have with us. So we're going to start out by greeting each other, by celebrating how wonderful it is that we all get to be here in this space together. Hine Matov, how good it is that we all get to dwell together. So our choir, I believe, and our kindergartners are going to lead us. So go ahead and stand up and help us out. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Beautiful job, everybody. We're going to now light our Shabbat candles. We're going to bring the light and the warmth that we feel in our hearts being with each other out into the world so that we can all see it. And to light the candles, I would like to invite up our senior education team, Maddie Powell and Brian Avner, and also perhaps a tiny guest. Please come on up and light the candles for us.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu l'chadlik ner, Vitzivanu l'chadlik ner, Vitzivanu l'chadlik ner, shel Shabbat.
Now that we can see all of this beautiful light that will keep us warm and illuminated and feeling close with one another all throughout Shabbat. We are ready to greet Shabbat in the form of our beloved who comes to visit us every week, to see us and to spend 25 hours making our lives calmer and richer and full of fun and relaxation. So we're going to join together in Lecha Dodi, and I will invite our kindergartners in our choir, I think, to help lead us as well. So please rise. Very good.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmienu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Shmo echad Shemu tiferet v'tila Echad Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Idorari Kiva Ore Kumi Ori Uri Shir Daberi Vod Adonai Alai Naikla Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla.
Please rise as we greet the Sabbath breath.
Oiva Shalom Ateret Be'ala Gam B'Simcha U'Tzu Olam Toch Emunei Am Segula Bo'ichala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla.
Normally when we're at Sunday school, I have to tell us all to pull ourselves up for Baruch Hu, but we're all standing already, feeling energized, feeling centered in ourselves, and we're going to join together in the Baruch Hu prayer, the call to prayer.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Amevo.
Please join me in reading, "Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, by whose word the evening falls, creator of sunrise and sunset, You turned the day into night and the night into morning, dividing the day from the night, so no time is like another. 1,000 starlights write your name in the heavens. Source of life, be with us now and always. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. With a great love we are loved. Like arms that hold us, we are wrapped in words of Torah in ways that are good and true. Together, we listen to words of Torah. They are the story of our life. They bring us closer to you. May Torah be with us always, making us happy, filling our days, connecting us to our past, pointing us to our future. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. We join together in the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Unless you are a kindergartner in the choir, because you're going to help lead us in a song about God's love for us and our love for God, the Ve'ahavta.
Are you ready? Okay, here we go. You shall love the Lord your God with all your soul and with all your might. Hold on tight as you know, teach them what you know. Teach them as they grow. Teach them so they know. Teach them so they know.
You are all doing such a beautiful job of leading us in prayer. Well, speaking of prayer, there are some prayers that we have that are a little newer, and there are some prayers that are very ancient. And this is one of the more ancient prayers, because this prayer comes right from the Torah. It comes from the moment when the Israelites were fleeing from Egypt, and they were terrified because the armies were behind them, and they made their way to the sea, and they didn't know what to do. And then God helped them to split the sea and to cross over on dry land and to get to the other side where they were safe. So every time we sing Mi Chamocha, we remember that wonderful moment in our history, and we remember how important it is to celebrate being free. And if you are a kindergartner, you may actually have a seat before we sing this song. And by a seat, I mean go back to your grown-ups, because the choir is going to stay and help lead us. But our kindergartners have finished their part of the service, which they led incredibly well. And if applauding made sense in a service, I would applaud them. But instead, we shall all just smile at them for their beautiful, beautiful work leading us in prayer. We join together in Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neda b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef eleh, Norah tehilot osef eleh. Yai lai lai la lai la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai 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 lai, yai lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Help us to lie down, Adonai, in peace, and let us awake full of life. Keep us safe under your shelter of peace. Blessed are you, source of kindness and love, who spreads a sukkah of peace over us, over Jerusalem, and over all who live on earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. And when we celebrate Shabbat, one of the things that we get to do is sing a beautiful prayer about celebrating Shabbat and how glad we are that we have the opportunity to do it. And that prayer is Vishamru, which our choir will also now lead us in.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashevi Shabbat vayinafash.
I would invite you all to please rise now as we join together in the Amidah.
Adonai sefetai tivta ufi agitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'zocher chasdei avot va'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibur le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lahoshia, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech nofim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, Kayem emunato, Vishenei afar, Micha mocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech meimit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Our God and God of our ancestors, may you be pleased with our rest on this Shabbat. We read together, may your Torah and commandments lead us to holiness, and may your goodness and salvation bring us gladness. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth, and help us to enjoy in love and favor the heritage of your holy Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives us the gift of Shabbat. Be gracious to your people Israel, Adonai our God, and lovingly accept our prayers. Together, may our worship always be acceptable to you, and may our eyes behold your merciful return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Blessed are you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence. And every time we pray, whether it's Shabbat, whether it's a day of the week, we always take a little bit of time to be thankful. Thankful for all of the blessings in our lives, all of the tiny little miracles that make our bodies work and move and our minds sharp. Thankful for big things and little things. So take just a moment to close your eyes and think of 3 things that you're especially grateful for on this Shabbat. We'll read together at the very bottom of the slide in the Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We're going to hear now a beautiful prayer of peace. I'll invite our choir members to rise once again and lead us in Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Etov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim
Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael bashalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. We are so grateful for the peace that we're able to enjoy on Shabbat, but we know that there are those in our community who are not fully at peace this Shabbat because they are in need of healing. It might be healing of the body, it might be healing of the mind or spirit, but we take a moment now to pray for their healing. And on this Shabbat, we think especially of Steve Teplinsky, Esther Cohen, Olivia Jane, Linnea Katz-Petted, Friedlin Veal, Luca Eisenberg, Carol Miller, Shulamit Shira Bat Gittel Yehudit, Jahari Andre King, Fern Drescher, Bruce Sherman, Jeffrey Berlin, Ezra Kramer, Jane Zeft, William Gleason, Jeff Zemmel, Wendy Pollock, John Holes, Gershon ben Avraham, Danielle ben Bruria, Keith Mandel, Carolyn Newman, Kelly Adeniak, Carol Rourke Trainer, George Grimm, Patrick Heppy, Gary Elderbrook, Aryeh Ben Yosef and Miriam, Dr. Joyce Sanchez, Alan Palais, Mary Jo Werner, Eleanor Varga, Lisa Putterman, Zacharia Yitzchak Ben Sima Pesha, the Wallert Drankowitz family, and Stuart Willis. And if you are thinking of anyone on this Shabbat who is in need of healing of any sort, I invite you to hold their name in your heart as we join together in Mishaberach. Take just a moment now for silent prayer, the prayer of the heart.
Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom b'moav, hu yaseh
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Actually, I'd like to invite all of the kids, if you want, you can sit up here. I'm going to ask for your help during this story, because this is a story that I need your help with. Okay? This is one of my favorites, a story that sort of reminds us to see things in all kinds of different perspectives. So, I'm going to tell you a story about a long time ago. In a home that was sort of in a rural area, there was a man that lived in a house with his wife and his children and his mother-in-law, and they were in this house together, and it was a very small house, and sometimes the kids would be playing and yelling. Can you guys be kids that are playing and yelling? You did that very, very well. I'm sure all of your parents are used to that noise. Okay, and stop. And when all of the kids were yelling and screaming and doing all of that, he also would notice that his mother-in-law would be creaking in her rocking chair, and she'd be going, ee, 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 ee. Can you do that? And sometimes his wife would be just sort of yelling, and she was really upset about all of the noise. Can you guys yell like somebody is sort of upset with all the noise? Oh, you are so good. And this would be every day, and he was exhausted. He wasn't getting any sleep. I promise you, this is not an autobiography story. And he was so tired, and one day he decided, you know what? I need to ask my rabbi what I should do. And so the man went to his rabbi and asked her, Rabbi, what should I do? I'm so tired. It's always so noisy in my house. I need a little peace and I need a little quiet. And the rabbi said, hey, you wouldn't happen to have any dogs, would you? He said, dogs? What do you mean about dogs? He said, yeah, I've got dogs. She said, bring them into the house. Bring the dogs into the house? Wow, that would be even more chaos. And so he thought, okay, the rabbi, she's so wise, I'm going to do what she told me. So he went back to the house, and he found his kids, and they were all playing and screaming. And his mother-in-law was creaking in the chair. Oh, some of the grown-ups are doing this too, thank you. And when he noticed that his wife was so upset, she was screaming. And he brought the dogs into the house, and the dogs were barking. And he thought, oh my gosh, this is so much worse. It can't get any worse. And so he decided to go back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, you know, your idea about bringing the dogs to the house, I thought maybe it would help, but it didn't. It got worse. It can't get any worse than this. And she said, do you have any horses? He said, yes, I have 2 horses. And she said, bring the horses into the house. Bring the horses into the house? You've got to be kidding me. How is that going to make it better? So, fine, I'm listening to the rabbi. She's so wise. She knows what she's talking about. He went back to the house, and he brought the horses in. And the horses went, and the dogs were barking. And the kids were screaming. And the mother-in-law was rocking. I love how that's equal. Yeah, and his wife was thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And the man thought to himself, this is getting crazy. So he went back to the rabbi and he said, Rabbi, since moving the horses into the house, things have gotten so much worse. It can't get any worse than this. And she said, do you have any cows? And he thought, he was a little hesitant. And he said, yes, I have 1 cow. And she said, bring the cow into the house. And he thought, oh my gosh, bring the cow into the house. So he went back home and he brought the cow into the house. And the cow went. And the horses went. And the dogs went. And the kids were screaming and playing. And the mother-in-law was rocking. And his wife was upset. And he thought, oh my gosh, I've got to go back. I've got to go back to the rabbi. So he went back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, you are so wise. You're so filled with wisdom, but this is getting worse and worse. And the rabbi thought to herself, by the way, do you have any choice of the next animal? What do you think? Yeah. Chickens. She said, do you have any chickens? And he said, yes, I have 4 chickens. So she said, bring the chickens into the house. Bring the chickens into the house. Rabbi, this is getting to be crazy. But he listened to the rabbi. He went home and he brought 4 chickens into the house, and the chickens were going. And the cow was going. And the horses were going. And the dogs were going. And the mother-in-law was going. And his wife was going. And finally, he had it. He went back to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, it can't get any worse than this. And the rabbi said, I think that we've maybe reached a point in which there needs to be a change. So she said, go back home and take out the cow. And he went back and he took the cow out into the field. And she said, take the 2 horses and return them to the field. So he went back and returned them to the field. She said, take the 4 chickens back. And he took the 4 chickens back to their pen. And she said, take the dogs and let them outside. And they let the dogs outside. And the man looked around his home and he noticed that his children were playing very quietly. And he noticed the beautiful sound, the soft sound of his mother-in-law rocking. And his wife was looking at him with contentment, and he thought to himself, truly, it could always get worse. But this is the kind of quiet that I've always been looking for. What a wise rabbi. So, I know that there's a lot of morals in this story. One is maybe take advice with a grain of salt. But it also is a reminder that when we look at our lives and when we look around, we can be filled with a sense of contentment and realize that there is good all around us. So I'm going to invite you now to go back to your moms and dads and grown-ups and grandparents who are here with you. And if there has been any birthdays in the month of January, we'd like to invite you up onto the bima. So if you'd like to come up onto the bima now, if you've had a birthday in January, so that you can receive a birthday blessing along with a birthday, a lollipop. Now, some of the grown-ups, I know it's your birthday in January, so you're welcome to come up too, because it's not just the candy, but also the blessing. So come on, Maya's birthday. Yeah, you want it?
Do you want one?
Okay.
You want a lollipop?
Here you go. There you go, Maya. This is bigger than Maya's head. All right, so we're going to invite you all up to open up our ark doors.
She still gets a lollipop.
And let's rise together as a community. As first, what we're going to do is, can we sing the Shechianu?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Let's sing the Shechianu together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has given us life, who has sanctified us, and who has brought us to this very special moment today. Let's join together now in the singing of Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu koreim u'mishtacharim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad
Yom Haledet Sameach, a very happy birthday to all of you. And I'm going to invite now all of the, happy birthday, Maya. And I'm going to invite now all of the parents if all of the grown-ups who are here, if you would reach out and place your hands upon your children's heads. It is a very, very special blessing to be able to have this moment in which we can bless each other. Also, if you are standing next to somebody that you love and care for, please do feel free to place your hand upon their head as well. And if you would repeat after me, Yisa Adonai,
Yisa Adonai,
Panav Elecha,
Panav Elecha,
V'yasem Lecha,
Yesem Lecha,
Shalom.
Shalom.
May God always smile upon you
May God always smile upon you
and bless you with God's choicest of blessings,
And bless you with God's choicest of
the
blessings,
blessing of Shalom.
the blessing of Shalom.
And if all of the young people, if you could place your hands upon your parents' heads or upon your grown-ups' heads, and again, if you are standing next to somebody that you care and for, and you can repeat after me, may God
May
May God
bless
bless
the love
the love
between
between
you and me.
and me.
And say amen.
Amen.
And give them a big hug. It is so meaningful to feel the hands of our loved ones upon our heads. And as we turn to Kaddish, as we turn to the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's prayer, so too do we think about all those who've passed into life eternal, whose spiritual hands are still reaching down upon us and blessing us from afar with their memory, with the goodness of their lives. That is, we incorporate into ours. Those blessings still remain. And sometimes we can even feel their hands upon our heads. And we are thinking in particular this week of those for whom we mark the period of Shiva and Shloshim, the 7-day mourning period and the 30-day mourning period. We think of Sybil Savalsky, Kay Berman, Nancy Cohen, Jeannie Cohen, Bert Naiman, Christine Schachter. To those names, too, we add those who have passed in seasons gone by, for whom it is their yahrzeit this evening. And though they have passed into life eternal, we still feel as though we are walking in their footsteps. We think of Robert S. Adler, Clara Bard, William Baum, Marilyn Berman, Irving Belansky, Frank Dichter, Marissa Elena Drew, Karen Edelstein, Dan Estrin, Muriel Evelyn Fogel, Betty Frost, David Howard Gerson, Leon Gill, Beverly Gilbert, Sidney Goldman, Bert Goodman, Dr. Robert Gordon, Eileen Gossman, Alfred Harris, Sam Himmelreich, Leo Irvings, Faith Isaacson, Jerome Jeskulka, Edward H. Jones, Ella Kagan, Jenny Katz, Bernard Kaufman, Leah Kelman, Lillian Kretschmar, Stephen LeClaire, Shirley London, Hyman Mendeloff, Melissa Nye, David Orlinsky, Rosalind Pillay, Lucille Pass, Newton Pekarsky, William Peterman, Faye Pivar, Diane Primison, Ethel Rabinovitz, Leah Resnick, Arthur Rosenberg, David Safer, Sarah Schmidt, Irving Shapiro, Rose Shapiro, Abraham Schlensky, Hyman Sklar, Florence Slavic, Max Tepper, Mimi Ungar, Beatrice Wagon, Mel Wallace, Beverly Wasserman, Stanley Wasserman, Joyce Weiss, and Harold Willinson. If there are names that should be pronounced differently than I did, or there should be names that should be added to this list, or you're commemorating the yahrzeit of a loved one, please do call those names out loud as I look in your direction. In addition to the names of our loved ones, so too do we think of all those who've died due to war and or terrorism. We think of all those who've died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals. We think of all of those who've died due to the terrible viruses of racism and xenophobia, as well as all those who perished during the Holocaust. This week is going to be a very difficult week as we wait to find out among the hostages and among the prisoners who is going to be returned alive or not. I ask you to keep everyone in your hearts at this time. This is going to be a very hard week ahead, despite the beauty of the fact that maybe this conflict is coming to an end. So I ask you to keep all of our brothers and sisters, our friends across the sea, all those innocent victims of this war in your hearts and your minds, as we turn to words that are sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. The Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. And by the way, so too do we think of all of those who perished in the terrible fires that have struck California and LA. We think of all of those who are surviving in the face of that terrible disaster as well. Let's recite these words together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah, v'yamal divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. It is part of our tradition that we turn from sadness to joy, that we turn from tears to that which in a sense, that blessings that can come as water meets the earth. And so we are thinking of our announcements, and there's so many wonderful things that are happening here at Congregation Shalom. So I want to wish you all Shabbat Shalom and thank our K4 and K5 students for their participation. They were amazing. It is a real highlight. I always enjoy K4 and K5. It's okay. I saw you clapping. You can do that a little bit. They were so great. They were so sweet. It really is wonderful. And I know some of them were nervous, too, about being on the bima, and they did great. And I hope that you guys will feel comfortable coming up again. So on Saturday, January 18th, you can still join us for family movie night. That's tomorrow night. Our feature film is Despicable Me. Havdalah and a pizza dinner is at 5 p.m. with a movie following. Also on Monday, January 20th, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And our congregational offices will be closed. However, this is our second year teaming up with Kids Impact Community for a family-friendly morning of learning and service. On Friday, January 24th, we have our first Kiddush Club service of 2025 and dinner. Please do sign up for that. It's going to be wonderful. And on Friday, January 31st, we'll enjoy a community dinner at 5:30 with Shabbat services at 6:30 with second grade participation and an oneg to follow. Again, the community dinner is open to all congregants, so please join us by RSVPing to the office or returning the registration form online because it's January 31st. If you got a big lollipop for January, you can get one again for January and February. Parents, be warned. Watch your shofar, your emails, Facebook, webpage for all of Shalom happenings, including more upcoming activities. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank Mark and Wendy Cohen always for leading us so beautifully and for the work that you are doing with our young people. Thank you to our K4 and K5 students and their teachers and parents, as well as our youth choir. They work very, very hard. Mark, would you lead us in the Kiddush? Our cup is always overflowing with blessings when you are here. Let's rise together as we turn to the sweetness that comes when we have the opportunity to bless each other and join in together in prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו ובחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim. And now let's call our youth choir back up onto the bima. They did such a good job this evening, and let's join together in singing our closing hymn for the Shabbat. Miss Wendy, what's our closing hymn?
Oh, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. You know the words. Please join in.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us for a wonderful oneg. If it wasn't your birthday, but you still want a lollipop, you can come up here, away from the candles.
I'm just going to hang out by the candles.
Yeah,